Hi, this is Charlie. We are working on our first signature, or I should say I am working on the first signature, and it will go on the inside left panel. I am using this as my base page, so there's an opportunity for a lot of journaling in here, storytelling, running some dates, some events. I'm going to do this on the both panels, left and right, so that you can tell a story, in addition to the story you're telling throughout here. Now, when I first started the album, I was not going to ink the edges, but as I started cutting into this paper, it has a really deep white core, and I'm going to go ahead and ink so that I can kind of mask that a little bit. And the ink that I'm using is called Brushed Corduroy out of Tim Holtz Distress Ink line, and it matches some of the reddish brown hues that are already in this, so it's not an obtrusive color. I got something on there right there. What did I do? Okay, oh, it's a little piece of tape that got stuck. Okay, we got it off. All right, there we go. So from the laser cuts, I'm putting a little rocking horse down here in this corner to help accent the raccoon. And then these are how I brought my pages about. I'm using one of the solid colors to do the inside of both these panels. I'm using some strips that are already in my stash pile, and I'm using them to accent. I've got this really pretty, delicate lace from Amazon. So I'll hold it up here if you want to take a good look at it, in case you want to try to find it. Trust me, I'll try and find it and post the link. But it's a huge roll. So I am using that to accent, to give a soft little touch. And then a couple of the laser cuts. I got a teddy bear and I got the cat playing the music over here. And then because there's 6 signatures and there's 12 months to a year, I am using each of the chips. So here's month 1 and here's month 2. So then when you turn this over, we have month 1 and month 2. And these are, let me get these down here so you can see what it is I'm doing. This is a bassinet with the twigs. And here's a little fox that we're going to lay right at the foot of the bassinet. So there is a set of cards in there that also go 1 through 12. So this is 1. And then when you open this up, I've taken some of the scraps. We're going to magnet close it so you can do some journaling or some photos right on the top. And then here's 1. And then number 2. Again, same thing, number 2, and then open this up. It's going to open this way. Excuse me. And then we've got some magnets. Excuse me. I am so sorry. Oh, yeah, I hate that when that happens. All right, and then down here, we're going to play with a little crib. Here's a raccoon, and then here is a bottle of milk, and it came from the inside of the crib. And then this is going to come up here and open up, and this one opens the normal way. Now I've rounded my corners with a 1/4 inch rounder, and with all that, let's go ahead and let's get started. I've got pieces everywhere. All right, so the base piece, and it's the one with the little birdie. There's a beautiful, beautiful strip. Let me see if I can grab this real quick. This is what I had to cut off. Goes just like this. So I had to cut this strip off. hold on to this. It is too adorable not to use. I'll use that as a side pocket. Okay, so this piece, back is the stripes, is going to measure at 8 5/8 across by 8 7/8 in your height. Now, mine is going to open so that it's right over left, so the right will open first and then the left side. So 1, 2. If you want to switch them up so that it goes 1, 2, that's entirely up to you. So let's get some tape on this. All right, so this panel is measuring at 5 7/8 across by your 8 7/8 in the height. Oh, I almost forgot. You're going to come in here and score at a 1/2 inch, and then you're going to score at 5/8 of an inch. You will bring your piece right up to that 1/2 inch score line. And then I'm going to push back to reinforce that score piece there. And then this panel, let me get some tape on it first. Okay. This panel measures at 5 1/2 inches across by 8 7/8. Again, you're going to score at a 1/2 and you're going to score it at 5/8. And we're going to come again right up to the 1/2 inch score line. Push back, reinforce that score. Okay, now's the time to put our magnets in. Okay. So that's going to sit right there. Oh, well, I didn't get that on far enough, so I'll put another strip. All right, now I want a piece of cardstock. Tear off a piece of tape. I'm going to put it on the back. Make sure that you're level here, top and bottom, that these are standing up before you commit to your magnet, or you're going to have to take that little guy off of there and start over. Now, I got to do something here real quick. Okay, I do not want these moving. All right, I'm going to finish working on the inside first. So again, we're going to go with this It's this is a soft blue. This is more of a gray blue on this side. And we're going to tack it in here. And because it's got a magnet on the underside of this, I'm going to tape it down. Okay. Now when I trim this, I don't want to see a whole bunch of cardstock, so I'm going for about 1/16 of an edge here. And of course this just shifted. To me, the cardstock should be an accent, not the first thing you see when you open up a page. So I do like to have it just lightly around the edges. All right, so from the scraps, I have this piece. So I'm trying to think. This would have come off of did it come off of here? I'm trying to remember where this came off of. So as you trim this, this might be where this came off of, or it came off of the front of the album on that piece of paper. But you should have this scrap with a group of floral and leaves. And then this, and if you don't, you can use, oh, this is kind of a nice little area here. Isn't that pretty? Do I want to do that side instead? Well, that depends upon what's over here. Nope, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. My personal is I don't like things that are fighting each other. So this measures 1.5 inches by the 8 7/8. I used 1/8 of an inch of tape, and I followed this dark seam that you've got here in the lace all the way down. Follow that up. And then I'm going to trim that little bit that's hanging over here. And then we're going to glue this piece down. Sometimes when I build an album, it's kind of go with the flow, or it's planned. So this is what I had planned. The reason being is the other hot air balloons on the other side are going in the opposite direction. So lay this down here, and then this edge will help secure and cover the tape that's on the lip. Now I've been flopping this around so much. Here's one. I have my little guy here I need to try and track down. These go with this. This goes down here. There he is. Now I'm not going to put any glue on the ear or the paw because it's going to hang over the lace and I don't want it closing the lace. Okay, we're going to close that and we're going to work on this side. And then this piece, also this piece measures at 1 3/8. This was the strip I wanted to use, and I had to cut this to this size. So this is 1 3/8 across. And we'll go ahead and get this glued down because there's no magnet. Off. There's some tape overhang, so I'm just going to roll it back. And then I'm going to come just in front of that 5/8 score line, set that in. See, this is what I mean by the balloons were going in the wrong direction. And then the number 2, which will go the chips, will go up here. And then this cute, adorable little cat with a fiddle, and I think I can glue just about every element there is. I cannot believe laser cuts on these things. They are very fine. Okay, so now we're going to play with this. So this is the piece that I used for the front. And I do believe they went on, they were cut this way, but I'm switching sides. And this is probably where, so this is from a previous trim. Okay, so I'm switching sides. I'm putting the balloon over here, and then I'm putting this one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and you can see this is where the balloons came from, the cut. Now I want to put these elements down first because their placement is most important. And then I'll put the little envelope down. And then I think it's best that I burnish it from this side because of the fragile elements here. And then the little fox, that's going to sit down here just at the foot of the little baby crib. Now I can put these on. And this is where I started changing my mind about inking the edges, because some of this, the white core is okay, but others of it, it was showing up a lot. So we have a couple of different images that we can use in here. If you're going to use some journaling, these are from scraps, you'll probably want to do this side, so we could do one of each so that you can do a journaling and then a photo. It's going to get covered up, this piece, if you do a photo, but it makes it look more exciting if we do it this way. Now, I really don't care about if I need to move the magnets on these, because if I have to, I'll just make a whole new one. So I am gluing these papers in here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use this side. It would make for a great backdrop for a photo. Frame it in on this. And then do your storytelling over here. Now, that glue I'm using is not forgiving. So if I have to move this because I put it down in the wrong spot, I've got something I can use, so I'm going to use tape to secure this in here. All right, so we've got this set down here. Here's number 1. I put that on upside down. Oh well. And then I'm just going to put this up here at just kind of at an off angle. It makes it look less sterile. And just above these stems here. So this will open up this way. All right, now we're going to tape this side as well. This is such a cute collection. It's really, especially the laser cuts. I struggle with which ones do I want to use and where do I want to use them at. It is just really adorable. Okay. so these elements will go down here. And then the raccoon with the little bug. I don't know what kind of bug to call that. And then here is the baby bottle. I'm just going to set it right next to him. And then we will offset this one here, and it will open up that way. So let's get these elements down first. Excuse me again. And here's our cute, adorable little raccoon. Now, you know, the laser cuts that I'm using, if you're making this album and you're playing with the laser cuts, you can use whatever elements that you want to use. You don't have to use the raccoon. And then here's the baby bottle. All right, now we're going to put some tape on the back of this. Bandit. This all together. I'll make sure I get them right side up. Now, I'm going to use, so see these, it doesn't matter, I guess, because you're just going to put a photo over it. So that's, I'll put that there, and I'll put this one for journaling up at the top. And then this one. God, for a moment there, I didn't think I put the magnets in. I scared myself. All right, and then this is going to go over here. Now I have a magnet here, so where I place this, I want to make sure that I'm not really infringing on this magnet. So I'm going to put a little bit over here to the left. So if you're doing that, keep that in mind as well. Okay. 1, 2. We've got 2 different styles of cribs. Open this up, and we've got some nice pockets here for tucking, and we've got a great big beautiful spot here for some journaling, storytelling. Okay, let's turn it over and let's get some tape out, and we're going to put it across the back, and we'll get this put in the album. Cap this off here real quick. I don't want it drying out on me. Okay, we got this, the perimeter done. Now I'm going to take a 3/8 of an inch and I'm going to put a couple of strips here. To stabilize it. All right, let's get the first one in the album. It's gonna go over here like so. And with there being 6 signatures, we're gonna feature, going the wrong way. So this is 1, 2, and then it will be 3, 4 over here, 5, and then we'll go through the entire 12 months. Now I will share with you something, and I'm really glad you see these green stripes. I took a scrap of paper and I cut 3/8, a half, and 3/8 because I'm using them as a way to make sure that I'm not getting in here on my hinge. And I came real close because I can barely see this. So that means on the next one, I need to make sure I'm cutting it just a little bit thinner. All right, let's get the rest of this out of here. Now this hinge wants to flatten out. In other words, it wants to collapse. So I am going to hold on and I'm going to push back on it so that it stands up, and then I'll commit. Get that burnished in there pretty good. Okay, there we go. We're done with our first signature. We'll come back later for this one. Until then, bye-bye.